All right, it's simple. Today we're going to talk about branding a little bit, all right? And when it comes on to branding, I want you to get this out of your head, right? Because branding is not about the reach. It's about what people see when they get to your page. It's about the message that you're conveying, okay? So the way I dress is a form of branding because I'm sending a message. My mannerism is a form of branding because of the way I speak. All right, it communicates to them that I'm a nice person, I'm a open person, I'm a person that they can come and talk to and relate with. Okay, I'm not someone who's gonna steal their money when it comes down to business, right? So branding is about the reach, is not about it's not about the reach, it's about what people see when they get to your page. All right. And a lot of business owner, they be thinking in terms of when they're making content, they're not getting any leads. But that's not how it works, because when you're making content, it's for the sake of branding. All right, you're not trying to go viral, because if you're trying to go viral, then you're trying to make content that you think that is best for you to go viral. You're trying to make content that jump through hoops. You're trying to make content for the sake of content, okay, which is good because it's free attention. When you try to think that way, it's free attention, but at the end of the day, you lose the authenticity that you originally have, right? Because check this out, being yourself make branding easy. And what does that mean? If you're a felon, if you're a stud, it doesn't really matter who you are or what you do, whosoever you are, okay, and you speak to the camera and you speak to an audience and you pitch an offer, the person on the next side of the camera who's coming into your funnel and clicking on your ad is someone who see themselves in you, someone who can relate to you. That's why no two offer is the same, no two business is the same. For example, I'm launching an ad, right? Let's say I'm going to launch an ad tomorrow. I'm not going to get a variety of white people or different type of people. I'm going to get people who have the same accent as me, or someone with the same accent or similar to mine, right? Why? Because they feel like they can relate to me as a businessman. So if I'm pitching an offer and the offer that I'm pitching is the same offer as my competitor, then guess what? If my competitor is an alien and I'm a human, I'm going to get human clients and he's going to get alien clients, because people go to where they fit in best. It's culture. That's how we were programmed, to go where we're accepted and needed. To go where we're accepted and needed, right? So when you're making content, don't worry about going viral, because when the right person see your content, they're going to come to you and ask you a question, because at the end of the day, you need to show them more credibility so they can believe you and trust that you are a expert in this niche. All right. Yes, you want to make content about value, and also you need to make content about lifestyle. You need to make content around who you are, your conducts, the things that you believe in. These are the type of stuff that make people build that instant relationship with you in their mind, because they want to relate to someone, right? And if let's say you're a mom, all right, and you're a single mom, and you have a business that caters to service-based businesses, if you share your story as a single mom, there's a chance that you're going to get a lot of other single moms who are going through the same thing, that can come in and like relate to you because they have the same struggle as you, right? So with that said, you being yourself is going to get you the right client in the long run, because you're not trying to be someone who you're not. Because the point, like, most people get bad leads or different type of business owners because they're being someone who they're not, right? So if you be yourself, you're going to get someone who comes in with same value and want to work with you, right? And I think I was telling, I don't know who I was telling this the other day, but when you're watching a motivational speech, or you're watching someone teaching you about money, ask yourself this: why are you watching this person? Yes, most likely they're gonna have a little bit of credibility, but in most cases you see yourself in them, because you have 10 people throughout your lifetime throughout your lifetime telling you that same message, but this is the person that you want to hear it from. All right. So there's something that's saying that you trust this person so much, or this is the person that you want to hear the same message from. Right. That go back to you being yourself, because that person is being himself and you just gravitate to him because whatever the reason is. Right. And that's how your audience gonna gravitate to you. Okay. And the thing is, right, when it comes on to like audience and trying to get people to come in your pipeline, yes, you're gonna need to run ads, okay? And a lot of people, like, you don't have to run ads or whatever the case may be. If like, advertisement is a part of life. Advertisement is part of the way of how business work. It's almost like the sales process. You can't get rid of the sales process. The sales process is just there. It's just the sales process. We have to get used to it, right? And when it comes into the sales process, a lot of people be like, oh, I want to run an ad and get some leads. And when I call the leads, they want to buy from me. They want to mitigate the sales process. The sales process is very important. That's where you build the repertoire. That's where you show them that you are a good person for them to trust. These people are making their hard working money and you expect them to come in and give it to you just like that. The sales process is designed by proxy to help these people to make the decision that they already want to make. All right. So advertisement is part of business. Okay. You can't not advertise in business. Business cards is a part of advertising, right? Handing out business cards is a part of advertising. Putting up flyers is part of advertising. I know a lot of people gonna come in the comment and be like, because they're somewhat smart, they're gonna be like, oh, that's called promotion, that's called blah blah blah, that's called blah blah blah. Either way, it's advertising. Okay. So with that said, when you for you to get a lot of leads coming in your pipeline, you're going to have to run ads. I don't care if you run it on LinkedIn, YouTube, Google, or Instagram and Facebook, TikTok, whatever. You have to run ads. You have to have a robot going out there searching for leads and putting them in your funnel. All right. And for someone to come in your funnel, you have to make an offer. Okay. So look, you sitting here worrying about website and all of that stuff. That's all good and whatever, right? But that's not what's gonna really get you the lead. Website don't get you lead. Website is almost like how your Instagram profile looks nowadays, right? It's all about build. It's all about building that trust. Okay. So let's say I'm on a call with a prospect and I'm talking to them and letting them know I'm an expert in my niche. I know what I'm talking about. This is what I do for a living. You get what I'm saying? I've been doing this. I'm not new to it, right? Website is there to tell my story. I can direct them to my website, showing them my testimonial, or you can direct them to your Instagram and show them your testimonial. You get what I'm saying? So you don't need a website per se, unless that's when you're trying to sell something high enough ticket, so you need to show them that who you are is a expert and they can trust you, right? Because trust is not just easily gained like that, right? You have to show some sort of like testimonial, work in progress. You have to have some skin in the game, because no one wants to be your test subject. No one want to be your first victim. Neither you don't want to be anyone's first victim. If you're going to work with someone, especially a doctor, you want to know that they're not an intern. You know what I'm saying? You want to know that they've been doing this for years. All right. So, and that's the same method right here. You have to show people that you've been doing it, so that way they can have more relief when spending money with you. All right. Because it's so hard as it is to make money in general. A lot of people don't know what to do, especially when you have so much AI software coming out. And that's something that kind of bugged me a little bit, because there's so much AI software that coming out right now, and people are still not understanding that they need to adapt to the new age methods of marketing. And these are tools are here that easily access. Most of them are free, especially like ChatGPT, and they're not utilizing it the way it's needed to be utilized, because these things can bring significant leverage to your business. These are like things you can get leverage from, because one is free, and if you know how to use it, you can get a tremendous amount of value from it, right? There's a bunch of AI softwares that's out there now, and if you know that there's a bunch of software, why are you not trying to adapt? Why are you not YouTubing them? Why are you not trying to learn? Because most of the things that people pay for nowadays can be done by AI. You get me? Most of my work is done by AI. I use AI to make my commercials. I use AI to make my prompt. I use AI to make prompt for my commercials. You get what I'm saying? I use AI to edit. Most of the things can be done with AI. So there's no real reason why people should be frustrated when it comes down to finding new tools and ways to add value to their business. Because this is not like 2005 where you have to learn everything and get a website and do all of those stuff and try to get into the magazine and try. No, it's 2025. There's so much way more easier way of getting things done nowadays, right? But I think the real reason why people are forgetting all of these stuff is because they're missing the basics. They're removing they're removing themselves from the basics, okay? And you have to respect the basics, okay? And the basics goes like this. You have a business proposition, you create an offer, you pitch the offer, you get a lead, and then you close the lead, and then you fulfill the lead that you close into a client. This is the basic metrics of how you advertise and are the process of getting a client, right? So you run an ad, the client, that which is the top of the funnel, the ad is the top of the funnel, the client fill out the instant form, or you can run a lead form. You don't even need a landing page. The client fill out the lead form, and then you call them from the lead form. So this is like the middle, somewhere in the middle of it, the process. So let's say 100 people see your ad, 50 of them come in the middle, which is 50 of them fill out the form. And after the 50 fill out the form, 25 of them you get to close, right? So that's the bottom when you close them, right? Now, during the sales process, which leads from the middle to the end, that's the sales process, right? Between right there, the sales process is where you convince them or show them that they're making the right choice by showing your testimonial, showing them work that you've done before, show them things that you're working on, show them ways you can improve their business. And this is not about me telling you to beg them, but that's just the process. All right, the sales process is in between the middle and the end of the funnel. The end of the funnel is when they convert to a lead. Okay, no, no, the end of the funnel is when they convert to a client, from a lead to a client, right? And so that's just the basic way of how all of this work when it comes into lead generation, right? And you have to have something going out there getting you leads. You can't just sit back and hope that leads are gonna come in because you're working on your website. You don't really need a website, especially in the beginning stage of your business, because there's two main stages every business, okay? The first stage is when you're covering cash flow, okay? The first stage is cash flow. That's when you have money in the business, like the business that's super profitable, but it's making money to pay bills, or it's making money to keep itself afloat, right? Now, the second stage is when it comes on to niching down and trying to scale. So that's when you truly find your ideal customer, and now you're trying to make an offer for them. But you see, the cash flow, you can never turn that off, because you need an ad that's running as cash flow ad. That's more like a low ticket item that you're going to be selling, right? When it comes on to like $100 ticket. And I'm just talking for service-based business owners, right? So your low ticket ad is like something like $100. You can do something real fast for $100, or you can do something for $150 or even $80, right? That's your low ticket ad. That's the ad that's going to be making you money daily, because if that ad is going out there and it's a really good offer and it's pulling in anywhere from 4 to 6 leads per day, and you're closing at least 2 leads, let's say that's $200 daily, and you're doing something very simple for $100. You get what I'm saying? So the every business, if you're someone who just starting out, you need to cover cash flow first. You need to run an ad with a open offer and start closing some deals. Do not niche down yet. Start closing some deals, and for a low ticket, for $100, $200, 150, right there, right? Don't go too high. That's your low ticket offer. That's what's gonna keep the business alive in a sense, right? Because on the good day and the bad days when you're not selling any high ticket product like $800 or $1,200 or $2,000, you're gonna close at least two deals for $200, and that's $400 for the day. So the business need to reach a spot where you are comfortable before you decide to scale. You need to create cash flow and so that the business can keep running, because if the business is not liquid, it's gonna die. Don't let ignorance keep your business from growing. And look, when you're running a business, a lot of people like to think in terms of guarantee. And I talk to a lot of leads and they be like, CJ can guarantee me leads, but I can't really guarantee you leads. My job as a marketer is not to guarantee you leads. My job is as a marketer is to position you properly as best as I can so you can get leads. You see, in business, there's no true guarantee. That's why we kind of like go this route. Well, that's not the reason why we go this route, but that's part of what we signed up for, right? Because if we need a guarantee, you go to a job. Because even the boss doesn't have the guarantee, but the worker kind of has a guarantee. You get what I'm saying? Because look, and that's why the boss get more money, because at the end of the day, if the business sing, you can go get another job and he has to start the business all over again, right? So with that said, like, you can't think in terms of guarantee. You have to know that business is risk and there's probabilities. What are the chances I'm going to get leads, and what are the chances I probably won't get leads? If your chances are high, then take the investment. Chances are low, then don't take the investment. Do you see what I'm getting at? But there's no guarantee per se. I cannot guarantee that you're going to close $1 million next week. But I can position you with enough clients, and hopefully you'll get lucky, because this is what I think luck is. Luck is preparation meeting opportunity. You prepare yourself, you work on yourself, you work on your business, you work and groom yourself into the type of person that you need to be, so when the opportunity come, boom, it's automatic, right? And that's what luck is. Like, Usain Bolt is a very lucky runner. You know why? He trained so hard, he trained so dedicated himself to his training, his macros and all of that stuff. So when it's time to actually run, guess what? He got lucky. See, it's so amazing how this works out. Like, hard work make you super lucky. You get what I'm saying? You put in the work, all right? You put in the work in your business. You level up yourself. You level up your way of thinking when it comes down to business, and not getting burned out from all these people who are burning you and lying to you and stuff like that. You being the person that you need to be, the resilient person that you need to be to move forward. That's you preparing. So when the opportunity comes, it's an automatic response. You can trust yourself to react in that moment. You see, it's so funny, like, because when you're training to become a marine or something, right? Most of this thing that they're training for is not what they're actually gonna see, especially athletes. Most of the drills that they go through is not things that they're actually gonna do on the field. But these are stuff that they train themselves so they can go in their subconscious. So when something happens, they can react automatically. That's luck. Luck is when your internal system act on its own. Is when you train your mindset to react a certain way, right? Because we have a finite amount of willpower, right? So you have the subconscious and you got the conscious mind. The conscious mind is what we use to program the subconscious mind, because everything that we're doing is subconscious. My facial expression, reading from the computer, and gestures, right? Typing, driving while talking. These are all subconscious actions, right? So with that said, you need to train yourself, right, to become someone. So when things happen and the opportunity comes, you can subconsciously attack. You can subconsciously react to the moment, and you will get lucky. right? Because you do the right thing based on your instinct. I think there's a word for it. It's called character. When you develop that character, when you develop who you are, when you develop your morals, your values, your education, your educate yourself around about the things that you need to educate yourself, you will get lucky, right? I think Andrew Tate said it best. When you dance, when you do the rain dance, when you focus on the work, when you focus on the work, the rain will appear. And basically what he's saying that if you work hard, you will get lucky, right? So that's my form of luck. My form of luck is me working hard, putting in the work daily. Me putting in the work, and then boom, I'm lucky. You understand what I'm saying? And if you want to be lucky, stop thinking in terms of guarantee and think in terms of probability and hard work. Put in that work, put in that guarantee. And that's what I do every day. So when I speak, the conviction alone can help me to sell. Yo, a lot of people don't realize that sales can come down to something simple as conviction. Yeah, it can. I don't need no fancy wordplay. I don't need all of that. People can hear it in my voice, my vocals, that this guy is being truthful, right? This guy has done it based on what he's saying, based on how he's explaining. This is not something you know just by looking at this for a day. This is something you know by doing it. You have some direct insight. That's how you know when someone is smart. Is how they talking about the topic. It's just a weird phenomenon, right? If someone is talking about macros and how to lift the weight and forms and hypertrophy, you're gonna be like, damn, this guy knows something about fitness, right? But if someone is coming to you and be like, well, just push the weight like this and I don't know, you're gonna be like, damn, is this guy a fitness trainer or not? No, he's not competent enough. You understand? So conviction does sell. And conviction sells when you truly know what you're talking about, right? You have to be competent in the area, in your niche. You have to be competent for you to be confident, because everyone is worrying about appearing confident. But are you competent? Because if you want to fake it till you make it, then that's fine. But guess what? You will not outdo the person who is competent, because the person who's competent doesn't have to be confident because he's competent. And confidence is more like a reflection of competence. But most people are worrying about being confident when you should worry about being competent. Basically, what I'm trying to say is work hard, build yourself, build the character, build yourself into the person who cannot be broken easily or even broken at all. There's going to be setbacks and you will get lucky. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, you will get lucky, bro. Because sometimes attaching yourself to a problem and just life and its problem in general can make you lose perspective, because it's making you losing your temper, it's making you losing the perspective. And this is something I had to learn firsthand, because I get caught up in conversation so many times with significant other, with loved ones, with clients and so forth, and I lose perspective, and then after I separate myself from it, I'm like, damn, I see where I could have done something better. I see where I could have improved, because that's the name of the game. Even though sometimes they were wrong, I still see places where I could have improved, and that's what mattered the most. Because if I improve, I know how this won't happen again, because I'm gonna make sure of it. I'm the leader of my boat. Do you understand what I'm saying? You have to detach from all of this. Sometimes attaching to the problem is not going to be the thing that helps you, because if you're attached to the outcome, then you're going to always be disappointed. Okay? You need to work so when something bad happens, you can pivot and keep moving. Keep moving. But you need to pivot. You need to learn how to pivot. You need to learn how to detach without going cold. I'm not saying to go cold, but I'm saying be resilient. Because as an entrepreneur, it's not easy to invest all your money in business, and then when it tanks, you have to be strong. Listen, you have a daughter, you have a son, you have a mom. Everyone is asking you, what's going on with the business today? Is anything new? You're like, nope, it's the same thing. I made no money today. But you can't tell them that. You can't tell them that. No way. Because as an entrepreneur, you are a leader. You're someone innovative. You're seeing stuff that they can't see. So you can't be too honest. You understand what I'm saying? You have to be like, Well, no, sometimes you have to tell them no, but sometimes you have to just withhold the truth and be like, it's okay, it's going. Be a little bit evasive because you can't burden them with your dream. You understand what I'm saying? This is a burdening in itself because you believe in what you do, but they don't, and you can worry about whether or not they don't because God didn't give them the vision for them to invest in our believe in you. You have to give them a reason to believe, right? Show them some track record, get some skin in the game. And if you don't have none, then my friend, you're gonna be walking this road alone for a long time. And it's not a bad thing because entrepreneur is almost like self-development. It's very spiritual, my friend. It's very spiritual. You're gonna talk to God a lot. I promise you, you're gonna talk to God a lot when you're on this entrepreneurship road because there's sometimes you're not gonna see your way out. And guess what? You have to just have faith. Yes, if you don't believe in God, you'll believe in God then things gonna happen in life and you just have to let go. You just have to learn to flow with the pain. Learn to you see, I think success, I think, because I'm not that successful. I'm successful as a person, but not a successful businessman per se. But this is what I'm gonna say about success. I think success comes down to stress tolerant, right? How much stress can you tolerate? How much can you do without getting too fatigued, right? How fatigued can you be and still going? It's almost like that scene from Rocky. It's not about how many punch you can give, it's how many punch you can take and still get back up. Something like that. But you get what I'm saying? How strong can you be for yourself and the people around you? Right? And if you have support, that's good if you have a support system. But if you don't, what do you do next? Do you understand me? So I think that success comes down to stress tolerant and how much you can truly endure as a human being, as a person who's trying to be more than who you are or what you are. And never accept yourself for who you are today because who you're trying to be tomorrow is way greater. Don't accept your limitation. Acknowledge it. Be grateful for it. But don't let it be your final resting place. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because a lot of people get caught up in, especially when I say be yourself, I don't really mean like be yourself today. Because listen, if you're ignorant, then you don't want to be yourself. You want to be someone who is not ignorant. Okay? You don't want to be yourself. Okay, if you're ignorant, you want to be someone who is not ignorant. And if someone is not ignorant, they have to be that person who is not ignorant. So you have to be someone who can read. You have to be someone who knows that about business. You have to always constantly improve on yourself. Who I am today was not the person who I was yesterday, nor 5 minutes ago. Okay, because I remember when I used to make videos just like these, right? And I couldn't even get my thoughts out properly. I couldn't even speak properly, right? Now I can see myself being more articulate. I can speak more freely, right? Because what I've built on to myself and all this building that I've been building over the past few years, weeks, months, what happened is compounded. It's compounded to a person now where that can speak freely, a person who can speak articulately and speak what's on their mind. Not saying I'm the smartest, all right? Not saying I'm the smartest, but I definitely see my improvement. And I'm happy that I'm not the person who I was yesterday, but I'm grateful that I was the person that I was yesterday. People be like, if you go back in the past and tell yourself something, what would you tell yourself? I wouldn't tell myself nothing. I would keep it pushing. You know why? You tell yourself something and you go down another road and a bus hit you. Maybe that's how life was meant to play out. You understand what I'm saying? So you can't regret who you were yesterday. You just never know what you never know. And that's just how it works. Everything happens for a reason. You have to trust that God is guiding you, and you have to trust that there's a purpose for you and there's success for you, but you cannot get it yet because God is preparing you for it, right? And if you have to go back in your past and tell yourself something, don't. Get out of your self way, because who you are today is because you were like that in the past. Do you understand me? So sometimes things need to happen and play out the way it play out. You had to take those L's. You hide yourself from those L's, then you wouldn't have become the person that you are today. You wouldn't even know who you would have to become. All right. So with that said, I'm ending this right here so I can go back and edit it and try to get some things done. All right. I'm out.